we all know, brother, we all know that for every bull market, there is a bear market.
Of course.
But let's say the truth of the matter is, for every bear market, there's another bull market. And this next one is going to be so unbelievable, in my opinion, that it is going to, people's mouths are going to literally fall off. We all hear those terms, melt faces. Grown men will weep at the fact that they didn't take advantage of the opportunity when they knew about it, because they will look back like we did, like I do, look back and holy Moses, I knew about Bitcoin. Look, $20 would have turned you into a billionaire. $20 would have turned you into a billionaire. It is.
But before we get started, folks, make sure you hit the pause button. Okay, go down below. There's a Rumble link. Go over to Rumble and follow us over there. QFS1776.com is, without question, the holy grail of what's to come. Okay, T-shirts. You got to get yourself decorated. This way people will ask you, what is XRP? What is the quantum financial system? What is this? What is that? And you send them where? To QFS1776.com, where they need to immerse themselves, because we're going to burn down this system down to the ground. And out of the ashes will rise the phoenix. There will be nothing to go back to. Believe me when I tell you that. Unified TV will take over Netflix. We're bringing in the next genre of movie producers and storytellers and actors and actresses. And we're telling the story of how the world is going to be on earth as it is in heaven. Jassara Nasara is coming. Don't make no mistake about it. Gold and silver right down below. Promo code Mel Carmine. Make sure you use the promo code. Almost $8 billion in sales. We're direct to like a bunch of mints. We are the ones that can get you the gold and silver directly to your door, okay, at the cheapest price. Don't even waste your time looking for a cheaper price. It doesn't exist. Also, our Telegram groups down below. If you want to learn what's coming and you're sort of a little scared, I understand. Believe me, I was there too at one point. Our Patriots are literally waiting for you in the room. And if you need more than $10,000 worth of XRP or $1 million worth of XRP, you come see me. Send me an email at QFS1776@gmail, and we'll get you as much as you want. Well, folks, we got him back. Dave from Digital Outlook is back. Okay, I told him at the end of this last show, I said, I picture him having a camera crew, and he's fly fishing. And he's got his rubber boots up to his boobs, you know, fly fishing with a camera crew and an editing crew. Well, we're quite not there yet, but we'll get there. Folks, I'm going to tell you right now, this guy is a wealth of knowledge. You know what? On XDC. See, no one man, no one island, you know, is no one man, no one woman is an island, okay? We all basically bring something of uniqueness to the space. He loves XDC. I hear him, so I watch him. I'm a fan, okay? And basically, I'm watching him. He's talking a lot of XDC jargon, and he's got like a PhD. He's got this stuff down. I'm XRP, XLM. He's XDC, XRP, he's all of them, but he's really been paying a lot of attention lately to XDC. So I want to get inside his brain and learn as much as I can. And you should too. Dave, welcome to the show, brother.
Hey, Mel, thank you so much. And before we start off, I just want to say how amazing I think you are. You do such a great service to this entire community, the information that you present, the people that you have on, you know, and you accept everybody from the guys way over here to the guys way over here. You give them a platform. And you know what, Mel, you were the first guy that ever interviewed me, and I'll never forget it. You really, really helped me, man. So
thank you, brother. And I saw your channel literally bust up, and I had nothing to do with it. I said, this guy brings value. It's not about how many people does he have. Does he have more people than me? Can he help my channel? It's not about me. I just thanked him for cross-pollinating before we hit the record button. Thank you for cross-pollinating. What does that mean? You know, I do a video with him. He does a video with me. There are people that don't know about Dave on our channel, and he brings a lot of value to the table. Okay. And there are people on his channel that don't know about this crazy bald-headed, crazy nut job with this stupid big ass chair. I
love the chair.
That would love to find out what it is we do, right? And so I'm the other side of the spectrum. We're Jassara Nasara. We're with that 17th movement. We're with the low-lying satellites. We're with the computers, the massive computers. the reevaluation of wealth that's about to happen, a lot of different stuff. So I bring a different perspective to his people. I know there's a lot of people that are closet 17ers in your group. I'm sure. I know. Listen, I talked to Zach Rector. I interviewed him too. Zach Rector, absolutely 100 trillion% closet 17er. Okay. So eventually they're all going to have to come over to our side because we're winning.
Oh, fantastic. Well, hey, the whole Nasara Jasara from a biblical perspective, and I am big on some of these things. Look, that whole debt jubilee thing was something that was instituted by God himself when he established the nation of Israel and said, hey, look, after every 50 years, you got to do a complete reset everything back to the beginning where everything goes back into the right hands. And that's the way it was meant to be. This whole, idea of just the never ever plan and just keeping people in indentured servitude and slavery to debt is just insane. I don't know if you know about Reaper Financial, but I interviewed Patrick Riley from Reaper. And I'll tell you what, man, that guy is advocating big time for the way in which this whole idea, it's an absolute right to be able to be debt-free in life and not be, encumbered to these big players out there that literally keep people in debt. It's kind of funny that, you go out there and a kid's 19, right? And he goes into the bank, says, hey, I'd like to borrow $5,000 to buy myself, this used F-150. And the bank's like, oh, no, that's just way too much money for you to borrow for a truck. Kid walks into the same bank that the next afternoon, says, hey, you know what? I'd like to borrow $150,000 so I can go to mechanic school. Hey, buddy, sign up right here. So that the kid gets graduated from school and he's already in debt to the system so deep that he'll probably never see his way out. It's a literal form of slavery, and we got to put an end to it. So, hey, I'm for Nasara Jasara in that respect. And from a biblical perspective, it has sound beginnings. That's what I think.
Well, I'll tell you what, Dave, we've had more shows lately with more people coming to the table with debt forgiveness, and they show the proof. This is recent. This is like 6-7 days ago. That video, because people are resonating. Now they're saying, well, Mel is maybe not so crazy after all. Yeah. Okay. I got 27,000 hits in like 5-6 days. He's got a utility. And then the bank sent them a letter basically saying, hey, we're about to forgive your debt. Let's talk.
Wow.
That's talking his mortgage.
Phenomenal.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Those are phenomenal. Right. I've heard of that. I've heard of it. Hey, I would have loved to have been a recipient of it when it was going on. Hasn't happened that way for me, but God found another way to get me out of the hole. So
yes. Well, I'll tell you, a bunch of people just got activated. My good friend, Amy Seaver has been activated. My good friend, Emily Tang, who we're going to be doing from QSI, who we're going to be doing a podcast with here soon. They've been activated. They're in on the QFS special team. Yes, right. Okay. And they are on the inside. So I interviewed her. I asked her some pretty tough questions. It says, if you don't want to answer it, don't answer it. I don't want to jeopardize not having you on the inside. I want her on the inside because we want to get those breadcrumbs, right? So
it's a good segue too, with XDC. You look at XDC, you look at XRP, you look at XLM. Well, what do they actually represent? Well, they mirror a monetary instrument. Well, what is a monetary instrument? Well, 3 things have to be present for any monetary instrument. Number 1 has to be a store of value. Number 2 has to have a unit of account, right? Number 3 has to be a medium of exchange. Well, when you take a look at XDC and XRP and XLM, number 1, the X in the XRP, and for those who don't know, XRP and XLM, is because X is agnostic, national agnostic, universal designation for any type of monetary instrument. So like USD obviously is United States dollar, right? Well, the X stands for it can be used in any country of the world. Well, the reality is this: XDC, XRP, XLM are stores of value. You can get 1 million drops out of 1 XRP. Definitely has a unit of account. And as a medium of exchange, look, you can already use these ecosystems to go out there and interact commercially. There are people in the United States that are receiving their salaries utilizing XRP and XDC and XLM and those type of things. You can go out, you can purchase products, you can purchase services, you can do everything that you can do with a monetary instrument. Now, having said that, under the whole, WEF system, or that the system of the central bank digital currency, right? They want everybody under this thing. Well, people that are vested in these spaces could have a potential opportunity to live over and above that. Why? These are already monetary instruments. You may never even have to transact with central bank digital currencies, because you're able to transact with your XDC, with your XRP, and with your XLM. And it is going to be a major, major deal going forward. And it's going to literally divide various groups. We will be the new 1%ers. I genuinely believe that.
Well, there's no question about it. See, when I see, 'cause like I said, no one man, no one woman is an island. When I look at Dave from Digital Outlook, that's his channel on YouTube. Go follow him. Okay. Dave, I don't see a green screen behind you. And I just by the observing and having a little bit of somewhat above average intelligence, I gotta say, you live pretty modestly, right? You live pretty damn good. That looks pretty good.
Yeah.
You look like a
You
got it going on.
We've been really super blessed. I mean, God has genuinely blessed us in that last bull run. Look, I saw assets. I was picking up some of these assets at such really low prices that even the amounts that I've held on to, I'm still up over 1,000% in a bear market. And when you look at an asset, and I'll give a comparison here. So look, I was picking up Cardano back when the utility wasn't truly defined as a smart contract layer 1 platform at 3 and 4 cents. The thing went to like a $3.10 level, which is practically a 100x return, 10,000%. Now, just think of this. You're looking at XDC right now at that 2 and that 3 cent mark. And to think that it's going to go way beyond $1, in my view, my personal opinion, is we have an ecosystem here that has such high level potential that it could see a 100x, if not 1,000x. And why is that? Well, look at the Depository Trust and Clearing Corp. Now, for those who don't know, the Depository Trust and Clearing Corp is a almost like an institution in and of itself that a lot of trading houses have, a stake in, and it processes almost every single trade, and it's trillions of dollars of trades a day that go through this thing. And they just went to blockchain technology with R3 Corda. R3 Corda utilizes XDC for its settlement layer along with XRP. Now, why is that so vitally important? Well, when you would normally do a trade in the normal circumstances, you would wait 3 days, 3 business days for settlement. These guys want to go to instantaneous settlement. And in their mind, instantaneous is like 30 minutes. Now we know XDC can settle in absolute seconds. But of course they're going to go through a process. But 30 minutes in the traditional world to settle a stock trade, that is absolutely phenomenal. Now, another thing about XDC recently that is major, major, major is we have all talked about the tokenization of commodities. So you're not just talking about, oil, this, that, but gold and silver. Well, in Dubai, which is a major, major blockchain hub, the DMCC, which is the agency that covers all those commodities and the gold and silver markets, bullion markets there, they are utilizing XinFin's technology and XDC to tokenize gold. Now, XDC is also a very high level proof of stake consensus blockchain. And it's not really blockchain. It's more like a direct acyclic graph of these, this consensus mechanism that it uses. Now, it has a public network, but the public networks can also branch off to private networks. This is absolutely massive when you're talking about trade finance and the utilization of an asset, settlement asset like XDC, when you're dealing with these various types of commodities and trades. And I'm telling you, Mel, I think XDC could literally explode on the scene. If you think a 100x wasn't possible, it is absolutely possible. And 1,000x could even be possible. And 1,000x, what would that bring? That would bring XDC to like what, $30 or something to that effect?
Even now, 10,000x is not out of the realm.
No, I mean, when you look at what it's going to do on a global level, it is going to be absolutely phenomenal. Now, yeah, it's going to take some time to get there.
Absolutely.
But the fact is, could it get there? Well, the potential is absolutely, I'd say 100% yes, it can get there. It has the absolute ability. The infrastructure is all there. The network relationships are all there. And remember this too, XinFin is a nonprofit organization. that works with governments around the world to utilize the benefits of distributed ledger technology in a way that can absolutely transform their economies. And we're talking about a very, very small global network. Look, the global network of economies are becoming so, condensed and interactive that they require lightning speed. They require some of these protocols to, and remember this too, we have to always remember this, that the value is in the protocol. Absolutely. Take price out of the picture and just look at the utility of the asset and what it can do. And you start peeling back that onion, and by the time you're finished, you will be 100% convinced of where this is going in the future. You can literally see the handwriting on the wall. You've got Ripple out there building the infrastructure of this whole central bank digital currency space, utilizing their own digital asset to transact value between the various ones. You got Quant for over ledger technology, which is a massive layer over top of all of these things. You've got XDC in the mix, dealing with trade finance in a way that has never, ever been done before. And you've got XLM for peer-to-peer transfer of value. And think of this too. XLM is right out there moving in lightning speed to bank the unbanked. And don't kid yourself, that is going to have such a massive impact on the way in which our world works. It's going to blow people's minds. Think about it in this respect. You and I, we've had access to these banking systems and services majority of our life, living where we've come from. Tens of millions, in fact, hundreds of millions of people don't even have bank accounts and never have ever had access to it. And I've been in the third world, literally. These people, these organizations are going to villages, they're setting up cell towers, they're handing out cell phones, teaching the people how to use them. Don't kid yourself. When you get that mass onboarding of people into this economy, it is going to blow your minds at the value of these assets and how fast they're going to appreciate. And so I think XDC in that regard, it reminds me of exactly what some of these other layer ones were way back, in that last market when they're really at rock bottom low prices. And you can pick up XDC at 2.7 cents today. Absolutely phenomenal. It's going to change lives. It's going to change lives.
People say, well, that's impossible, Dave. It's going to go
Not
from
impossible.
7 cents to $270 or 27 bucks. Are you guys smoking? How about Bitcoin? No utility. Zero.
Zero. Yep.
Absolutely zero. And it's going to go to zero, Patrick, my friend in New Jersey. I love breaking his chops. It's going to go to zero because it's got zero utility. Okay.
Think about it too.
You just gave me an extreme case of FOMO, and we own a shitload. I want to
There you go, man. You're sitting pretty. Hey, $5. This is the absolute cent. Now, look, I used to work for the federal government in Canada at a fairly high level in the tax department. And back when Bitcoin was coming out between 2008 to 2011, during that time, I was working in the underground economy in a special enforcement team where we would be investigating all of this kind of stuff. And of course, back then the narrative was Bitcoin's only good for drug dealers, tax cheats and all kinds of other nefarious stuff, right? And I remember the days when Bitcoin was pennies. In fact, an article came out not too long ago that a person spent $5 and bought 5,000 Bitcoin. 13 years later, that $5 was worth $348 million. Now, those who don't believe it, you go Google the article, you're going to find it. Put in $5 for 5,000 Bitcoin. The article is going to come up. It was a genuine fact. For $20, you could have turned into a billionaire. Exactly. I can't tell you how many tears I've cried, not legitimate tears, but you know what I mean? Because back then, when I knew about Bitcoin, and I was in that space, and for like the price of a good meal, I could have been a billionaire.
Done.
Billionaire. So think do you think that that's an anomaly? Look at best appreciating asset in the history of the world is Bitcoin up to this date. But I'm telling you, Bitcoin is going to be undone by some of these utility tokens and these ISO tokens and the way in which the world is going to work. The financial infrastructure is being built. The trade finance infrastructure is being built. The way peer-to-peer payments are going to work. And not, think of this, not just in finance, but in your digital identity. The way in which your passports are delivered to you, your proof of ownership in the non-fungible token space. Look at XDC is massive when it comes to NFTs. But a lot of people know about non-fungible tokens, but they don't know about restricted fungible tokens, non-restricted fungible tokens, other forms of fungible tokens that are going to prove ownership of not only digital information, but are going to prove ownership of real world assets that will be tokenized. And you think of the, man, just think of the tokenization of real estate when it really comes into full swing. How many people would love to have a little piece of some sort of a, a rental property over here, or maybe, owned down there in Malibu or in the Bahamas, a little piece of this. And I'm not talking this timeshare stuff, which is, kind of a big scam in some ways, but I'm talking about real ownership of the land, the buildings, and everything else. And they can get in and they can just start buying bit by bit by bit using NFTs to do it and stuff like that. And XDC being a prime settlement for that, I'm telling you, come on, it is going to blow the doors off of things that we can't even imagine yet. And then you got to take the metaverse into account, right? So here we are. We're doing some social media right now. We're on YouTube. And we're able to talk. I remember, and you remember, man, we're old enough to know this was science fiction at one time, right? Nobody in their right mind ever believed that we would be doing what we're doing today as soon as we're doing it. And yet, look at how that Facebook and TikTok and Twitter and YouTube and all this has revolutionized the way in which this world communicates information and how we interact with one another. Put that on steroids. And you walk into the, and get this, there are real world Fortune 500 companies right now spending tens of millions of dollars for virtual land. And don't kid yourself, Zenfin and XDC have their toes dipped heavily into this metaverse stuff. And you are going to see things that we just can't even fathom right now about it. And hey, it's not FOMO for me, because I could take the price out of it and just look at the utility. And from the utility alone, it tells its own story. And I don't have to worry about that, because I think, okay, I'm just going to participate in the utility. The generational wealth is going to come. That's going to come.
Yeah.
Just focusing on the utility.
I got to tell you, you're on fire, dude. I'm getting chills. Seriously. I'm getting chills. Listen to you. There's at least 12 to 15 Amazons that are going to come out of this space. Look, I understand there's 27,000 tokens. He gets it. I get it. Okay. But we're telling you, stick to the ISOs. There's at least 12 to 15 Amazons. Now, XRP, XLM, XDZ, these are like Amazons on steroids.
Oh, absolutely. You can see it.
This is like investing in Amazon if it was times 10, times 100, what it became.
Yeah.
Right now.
And it happened. And you know what? It took Amazon, 20 plus years to see it. It's not going to take 20 years to see this. Why? Because the world is moving faster and faster and faster into this new iteration of how everything of value is going to transact. And like I said, it's not just our finances. It has to do with everything that we do in this life in terms of all of our healthcare, education, you name it. It's all going to be there. It is literally going to transcend what we are on the fourth. And look, they have got it right this way. It is a fourth industrial revolution. And when you take a look, just imagine back in the day when the first industrial revolution took place, and you just happened to invest in this little company that was building steam engines. Nobody had any real use for it, but they were building. It revolutionized the way manufacturing took place. And as a result, it did something. It brought up a new class of people, right? It developed the Industrial Revolution, the very first one, brought in the middle class into the world. And from there, then you have your secondary industrial revolution. And look at the guys that started out when it came to oil. When they started discovering oil, remember back then, there was a big crisis and the world was running out of whale blubber. Whale blubber. Needless to say, they come along with these fossil fuels, and we have seen literally families. Think of the Rockefellers.
Yeah.
I mean, these are big time influencers on a global scale, right? The Bilderberg type folks. Look, they built their wealth because they were the first ones out there moving forward with respect to the generational change that was happening. This is a generational change, one that we have never seen probably in a few of our lifetimes. And it will be, in my view, it will be the greatest transfer of wealth that has ever happened in the history of mankind.
Oh, there's no question.
It's not just hopium. It is going to revolutionize this world. Most people, if you went down your street and you knocked on 15 doors and you asked them, hey, do you know what Zinfin is? They would think you're talking about maybe some sort of exotic candy that's coming out of Japan. They wouldn't know what you're talking about. So few people are awakened to this reality that those of us that have even the slightest clue, that take even the smallest bite out of this apple, are going to be thanking us. In fact, we're generationally, our families will be thanking us for taking us some, having some, oomph, whatever you want to. Yes, there's risk involved, but there's no adventure without risk. Right. Life is not an adventure if you take a risk. If you've never, the moment you fall in love, believe you me, you have now stepped into an adventure of a lifetime. And is there risk with that? Well, sure, there is. Of course. There's a risk in anything like that. And that is the quintessential thing about us as people. Mel, remember, we all remember this. This whole marketplace is measured by a fear and greed index. Yeah. And that's how they manipulate us. They manipulate us with this psychology of the market. All up here, they get all, hey, you go in to watch a movie, there's Matt Damon out there, fortune favors the brave and all that, and they're just pumping it up here. And down here, the same people, they talked into it up here because they weren't convinced in their own selves. They based it on what everybody else said. They didn't take time to, like we've done, peel back the onion. So up here, they're all FOMOing in. And down here, there's another kind of fear. The guys up here are down here. Why? Because they're just allowing their emotions to be completely controlled by this group of people, and it works every single market cycle. And they're not going to change because the majority of folks don't do what you're doing. They don't do what I'm doing. The things that we encourage our audience to do is to go out there and don't base it on, hey, I have enthusiasm because I'm convinced. Oh yeah. You maybe pick up on the
you
vibe.
And I are a little bit more than convinced. I think we're obsessed.
We're obsessed. But the reality is, if people just went out and did a little bit of research on their own, they wouldn't be saying, oh, you guys are just moon boy. No, you wouldn't be saying that. No, you'd be like, how on earth did I not know about this before now? Heck, I remember when XDC was fractions of a penny. And I'll tell you what, boy, oh boy, do I ever wish that I had loaded up back there, because even for those guys, just think of those early adopters back there buying into XDC when it was literally thousands of a cent. Even now, sitting at 2 and 3 cents, they are laughing like crazy. And it's like me. I was picking Cardano up there at 3 and 4 cents. I'm still up over 1,000% on those investments that I made, in this bear market. Yes. And we all know, we all know, brother, we all know that for every bull market, there is a bear market. Of course. But let's say the truth of the matter is, for every bear market, there's another bull market. And this next one is going to be so unbelievable, in my opinion, that it is going to, people's mouths are going to literally fall off. We all hear those terms, melt faces. Grown men will weep at the fact that they didn't take advantage of the opportunity when they knew about it, because they will look back like we did, like I do. Look back and holy Moses, I knew about Bitcoin. Look, $20 would have turned you into a billionaire. $20 would have turned you into a billionaire. It's going to be like that. Mind blowing.
Let me tell you, this next bull run is the one that I am afraid of the most. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I don't think they're going to turn it off, because they need to move into the new financial system for the entire world. Yeah, see, my wife never lets me live it down. I bet you might not even know this. You may or may not. I'm going to throw you a curveball. VeChain. You bet. VeChain.
Yes, VeChain. Yes.
Right? VeChain is not part of the ISOs, but I love VeChain because it's got utility. I think the
It
reason
does.
why it's not allowed to be part of the ISOs is because it's from China.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
it's actually not. It's not, Sonny Lou, and all of that. Remember where he came from? He came from
Right.
Louis Vuitton Mohawk Hennessy,
Right.
right? And so, but I got into VeChain really, really early on, but not as
Me
early as I
too.
could have.
Me too.
And
Here's the question.
go
Here's
ahead,
the
sir.
question. Ready?
Yes, sir.
What was the price of VeChain in the last bull run?
In the very last, it was over $8 because at that time it was known as VEN,
You do
VEN,
know
not
the answer. It was like
VES.
$9 and change.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah, and a lot of folks don't know that. They're like, oh, VeChain's high price. No. VeChain, when it was an ERC20 token, was known as VEN, VEN, and it exploded to, like you said, over $8 and $9. Now, even for me, I picked up VeChain when it was 0.004, and the thing went to like 27 cents. Massive.
That's exactly
move.
what my wife will not let me live down, is the fact that I didn't sell it at 27 cents.
Well, you know what? The deal is, hey, a lot of people ask me, how did Judy and I know when to get out of the bull run? Well, we didn't. We kind of because I remember in the last bull run, everyone was saying December. Well, blow off top's coming in December, and December never came. And we did liquidate a portion. We liquidated half of our position. I'm telling you what, the half that we sold, it literally changed our lives. Changed our lives. I mean, we satisfied so many different goals. But the reason why we were so focused, Mel, is because Judy and I were up there in Canada. We were locked down. Here we were, all of our children and grandchildren were down here in the United States. We had absolutely zero ability to be with them. And, we even had grandbabies born to us. We didn't get to hold them for over 1 year old because we could not see them. And I'm telling you, nothing is a stronger motivator when you're at that place in life where, hey, I've got more life behind me probably than I do ahead of me, right? I'm 55 years old. So if I live 30 more years, 35, I'm a 90-year-old guy. Hey, let's hope it happens. But needless to say, the reality is, how do I want to spend the rest of my life? Well, I want to spend the rest of my life around the people that I love and this and that. And I'm telling you, what a motivator. And so in that capacity, when it came time for us to pull up stakes and hidey ho, we took and sold half of our position. It changed our worlds. And that's why I'm so enthusiastic. Look, it is the real deal. You are not getting any kind of hopium hype. People have asked me, oh, you're so positive. Ripple must be paying you. I'm like, hey, my XRP hat was a Christmas gift from one of my daughters. No one's paying me anything. And I want to say this, for those folks out there that say, oh, they're just saying this stuff to get views, you have got to be kidding. The hours and the effort and the time it takes to put up one video translates into like minimum and way
less than
minimum wage, way less than minimum wage. We're not doing this so that we get some cut of a paycheck. No, we're doing this because we believe in what we're sharing, and we're putting information out there. You're getting my 100% biased opinion. You are. Bingo. But how did I get to this opinion? I got to this opinion because I took the time, like you have, Mel, to peel back that onion, to learn about as much as I possibly can in this space, and to come out and share that information. And it never ceases to amaze me. People will come out in the comments and they'll just talk it down. It's like, why wouldn't you just get out there and say, okay, well, I would encourage everybody to go out there and do that. Research it. Go out there, peel back down, go on to zinfin.io. Start digging deep in who this team is. Where did they come from? How did they develop it? What was the motivation behind it? Where are the use cases? And and on and on and on. And I'm telling you, no one will be able to, they won't need you and I to come along and kind of like educate them, or at least make them aware. They'll know in and of themselves, because you and I both know the reality is this. Mel, if you or I could go out there and talk some of these people into it, they could just throw up another channel and someone else is going to talk them right out of it. Their conviction is going to come. The biggest and most confident answers I ever had received are the answers I found for myself. And I genuinely believe that that's how it's going to be. But look, with XDC, it is going to be a global shaker. It is going to change the way the world works. It already is. It already is.
Yes.
One of these days, we're going to come out, Mel, and you know it and I know it. They're going to flip a switch. They might pull some cyber attack stuff or whatever, but whatever switch they pull, when we wake up in the morning, whatever, maybe that morning takes a week or two or whatever, when we wake back up, the whole world is going to be transitioned into a brand new system. And most folks are going to be so, so happy that we did.
The next bull run is the one that's going to scare me the most, because my wife's talking about selling and making some profits. And I'm afraid that this next bull run is going to be by a factor of maybe 50, 100, what the last one was, because the world needs to do commerce. This one, that last one was dress rehearsal. This one is not going to be dress rehearsal. This is about the Jasara. This is about the quantum financial system. This is about all of it. And folks out there, you know, I hate to tell you, $1 can change the situation you're in. $10, $100. You know, there's an old saying, scared money makes no money.
Yep. Mel, right? I know somebody that put $700 into Shiba Inu and took out $50,000. Don't tell me it can't happen.
Exactly.
Don't tell me it can't happen. Exactly. It can happen.
Exactly.
You know, and you know, with Amber, they're saying, hey, Mel, maybe we, you know, look, the thing is this, a person can have some of these goals that they want to reach. And they could say, you know, well, look, I'm going to take you might only need to take 10% out, and that 10% will be life-changing for you.
Absolutely.
You know, you don't have to sell
You're
everything.
Make me do something. You're going to make me do something on air I've never done. Amber, buy some more XDC, please.
And especially when it's under 3 cents.
Exactly.
No, I mean, it's true. I feel exactly like what I felt. Look, when Judy and I were getting in, it was really for the preservation of what we saved. Now, Judy and I were a blended family, and we had combined 6 kids. Now, 5 of those kids had to have braces and, you know, the cost of life and everything. So at that time, you know, Mel, Judy and I had only saved about $70,000. That was our total amount of life savings at that time. Now, sure, we had our government pensions and that, but we weren't expecting to see a life-changing, you know, turnaround like we did. And the reality is, when we started to buy, you know, we were buying in when it was fear on steroids. Oh, yeah. And, you know, this whole fear and greed index kind of deal. And we did not understand that at the beginning that we were buying at the bottom. I'm telling you, I feel exactly what I felt then. And I told people on my channels, like when you had your second Christmas, that when you really clued into what Christmas was, right? Oh, yeah. And then you realize the anticipation and the enthusiasm that builds up, you know, you got that, wow, this is going to be amazing. Well, that's what it feels like. Because before then, I wasn't really mentally or emotionally prepared for it. Well, I'm telling you what, Christmas is coming, and I can feel it. I can feel it. And that's why I am so excited about it. Now, hey, could I be wrong? I could be, but I'm telling you what, I really don't believe I am. And so
I know you're not. I know, absolutely. I 100 trillion% sure that you are not, unless we get hit by an atomic bomb, then obviously all bets are off. But who cares?
Then if we get hit by an atomic bomb, then I have just inherited everything I ever wanted to inherit. I get to go home to be with the Lord and live in just absolute blessedness for the rest of eternity. Exactly. You know, so for me, it's like, hey, this is my journey. It's not my destination, but I'll tell you what, I want to live to the maximum potential that I possibly can. And do you know why most people don't fulfill their dreams? It's because of resolve. No, look, Warren Buffett, he's a famous investor. He makes a really amazing statement that I love. And he literally says, these stock markets are created to transfer wealth from the impatient to the patient. I'm telling you, those that have the wherewithal, I believe, this is my personal belief, that those that have the courage, and listen, courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is feeling the fear and doing it anyway. And being able to go out there, and I'm not saying you mortgage your house or you do this and that, but you go out there with what you've got and you step out on the water and take some risk and live some adventure in your life that could literally transform your life, and not just yours, your children, and potentially your grandchildren, and even beyond that. Like I said, look at those Rockefellers.
Yeah.
Not only did they affect their generation of their family, they were able to utilize that wealth to change the world. the way it works, if you know what the Bilderbergs are all
Yeah,
about.
well,
now, I
they
don't
changed
necessarily,
their world,
I'm
but
not
they did it
I'm
on our
not
backs.
necessarily, yes,
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily agreeing with what they did with
No,
their wealth, right? But
no.
what I'm pointing out is their wealth gave them the power to make change.
Right.
And
Right.
there are going to be new billionaires and even potentially new trillionaires minted by
Absolutely.
these assets that are going to be shaping what the new world looks like. Well, hey, man, I want a seat at that table, don't you?
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
And,
And
it's about the thing. The reason why I'm so immersed into the QFS1776.com, which we have created the holy grail of what's to come, the Bible, okay, the Jasara Nasara, is because it's humanitarian in nature. It's not about you going out because you just, became a $500 million guy or a $1.5 billion guy. The first thing you're going to do is go out and buy your 762-foot yacht. No, it's about
No,
humanitarian.
no.
What are you
Yes.
doing for mankind? What are you doing to
Yeah.
help your fellow people? Okay.
Yeah.
And so we're going to create so many humanitarian projects. And I think this is where the universal basic income is going to come in. I think that you and I are going to be throwing money into that universal basic income, into that pot that goes to these people. They're going to go to a website. They're going to say, okay, Ellie Weber, I'm sorry, what's her name? Rebel Ellie, my friend Rebel Ellie. She's got a project that's going to help the horses. Boom.
And there you go. And that's, and with Judy and I, even in this last bull run, one of the very first thing we did, because of course we are very big, we're tithers and we're givers. I believe in giving. It says, honor the Lord with the first fruits of all your increase, so your vats will overflow with new wine and your barns will be filled. So what happened in that last go around, and we disciplined ourselves. Look, whenever you say, in order to be a tithe, I remember when I first started out, I was terrified. I thought, I'm never going to have enough money to pay my bills, but I was willing to try it out. And we started with just doing 10% of our net income, right? And I found that, yes, I had to say no to the third Starbucks, no to the fourth time eating out that month or whatever. But then what happened is I was able to go out there. We learned to tithe at that level. Then we moved on to, tithing on our gross. Then we got to the point where we went to give. So when we actually cashed out, we really prayed about it. Now, we didn't give to our family. We didn't give to a church, but God laid some people on our hearts, this one family. And I remember so humbly how it affected us. And I remember, when you're given that kind of money, you can't really do it anonymously. And the folks were, oh, thank you kind of deal. And I said to them at that moment, I said, look, it didn't come from us. It came through us. And as a result of that, I thought to myself, Lord, if you could use me to answer their prayer, then you have somebody else in life that can answer my prayer. And that's the way God works. We're vessels only, and he uses us as iron sharpens iron, Mel, so a man sharpens a man. And we are our brother's keeper. I agree with that 100%. And there's so much more reasons for the accumulation of wealth than greed.
Yeah, no.
Greed is not.
Listen,
there are so many.
Greed aside. So look,
these folks that think that we're just greedy are just, they're out to lunch because they don't really know. Now, hey, don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. So Judy and I don't always go out and tell folks, hey, we've done this or we're doing that or whatever. But believe me, we've made it such a part of our life that it's integrated into the paradigm of our hearts. And it doesn't take, it's not as painful to learn how to do that. Look, then going forward. Why? Because there's a liberty in it. And that is one blessing that helped us in this space, because we were able to exercise that discipline in our life before we even entered into this space. That chokehold of the fear of loss when it came to investing wasn't there. Why? Because we were able to let it go. Our hands were held loosely. And what we were doing is we were looking at our investment like seed and just saying, okay, Father, I'm going to trust you to multiply this seed. You know what we need in life. We're trusting you. And I really do believe the Holy Spirit led and guided our steps to invest, because Mel, I invested in 10 different things. Every single one of them exploded. In fact, the worst one I had was Tezos, and it only did 100%.
Now, you said something early in the interview about the significance of the X on XRP, XLM, XDC, and so on. How about X.com? How about Elon Musk? Is he the wild card, or is he the wild?
It's amazing. He is infatuated with the word X, and the guy has been, kind of central to a lot of these. Remember that PayPal was one of the first investors in Ripple. right? And back in those days. And so you kind of look at that and you think, there is a mystery there. The guy is very mysterious, no doubt. I mean, he loves the letter X. I don't know why or what the whole story is there, but there certainly seems to be some level of connection. But, at the end of the day, I kind of look at it like this. Do you really, we always like to throw sayings out there. Well, that's a no-brainer and all this and that. But the reality is that a lot of people will not ever exercise just a little bit of effort to find out about a lot of information that could really genuinely change their life. And I guarantee, Mel, there's going to be people that are going to poo-poo you. They're going to poo-poo me and all this and that. And tell you what harm is there in us coming out there and infusing people with a little bit of hope that, hey, tomorrow is going to be way better than it was today and way, way better than it ever was yesterday. Why is that such a dangerous message? Because hope is one of those quintessential things that if you get it infused in your life, it will set you on fire. You will not remain the same. Hope is contagious. I'm telling you, it makes that other issue, right, look like nothing. And there is no inoculation to steal hope out of the soul once it really gets in there and starts to take root. And I want to pour hope into people's life. There's a big scripture I love, and it's about a promise. Now, God gave Abraham a promise. And what was it? That his descendants would be like the stars in the heaven and like the sands of the seashore. They couldn't even be counted. Basically, I'm going to bless you, Abraham, so much that you're going to exponentially explode. But what happened in that regard, right? So in that regard, what ends up happening is this. Abraham, the scripture says, against all hope, Abraham in hope believed, and so became the father of many nations, just as it had been promised to him. And it literally says he faced the fact that his body was as good as dead because he was 100 years old, and that Sarah, his wife, had stopped the childbearing years, but he didn't waver in unbelief regarding God's promise. But it says he was literally strengthened in his faith and gave glory to God. Why? Because he was fully persuaded that God had the power to do what he had promised. And the way I look at it is this: God has given us a promise. He's promised us a future and a hope to prosper us and not to harm us. And that is the message that I want to give into people's lives. Look, there is hope for a great tomorrow in your life. And if you would put your life into the hands of the man who made you, maybe it'll make a big difference. But beyond that, look, even common sense, when you just read about this stuff, prevails. And you can see there's a reason for us to believe and be so enthusiastic about our future in this space. Anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Could you see my screen by any chance?
I can see that.
I got to give some kudos to my friend out there, Crypto Hulk. I've been saying this for a while. My people will tell you, not because I want to be the first one to, I'm not a Nostradamus when it comes to this stuff, but I've been saying all along that eventually everything will be tokenized. Even gold, even silver will be tokenized on the blockchain, because nobody's going to buy 500 pounds worth of silver and go driving around in their, Chevrolet and put it in their trunk of their car, driving around with their silver. It's going to be on these things, right? It's going to be on the blockchain, right? On your wallets, on your hardware wallets. And this is a video that he has on his TikTok. So kudos to you, Crypto Hulk. Okay.
Yes, kudos to you, Crypto Hulk.
I would love to have him back. Check this out.
There's another guy out there, and you know what he's doing? He's letting people know. We're like Paul Revere, man. We're running through the street and we're saying, hey, look at this. This is coming. This is coming. This is coming. Now, there's going to be people who are going to listen to that and believe it, and they're going to do so. But the majority of folks, unfortunately, right now are sleeping. The reality is, a lot of them are going to be stuck unawares and unprepared. Now, I don't want that. I know that you don't want that, but we're doing the very best that we can. And with a real, genuine, pure motive to do it. Like, what benefit is it to me or you if someone else goes out there and they actually buy a little XDC? Do you think our little bits are going to make a huge difference in the grand scheme? Absolutely no way. But the thing of it is, we're saying that so that you guys out there can genuinely benefit. I've already made my decision. Mel, you've made your decision.
Absolutely.
We've already decided where we're going. And so hey, look, that's the reality of it. So
So I'm going to play this little clip. Okay.
This
is on our Telegram group, which is 14,250 subscribers.
Okay.
So he got massive exposure, because then this copies over onto our other Telegram group, which has got another, 13,000 and change. All right, listen to this.
Okay.
This is absolutely massive. You got to check this out. Russia, okay, they have something called Spur Bank. They've just tokenized gold. Okay, that's pretty crazy right there. Check this out. They're also tokenizing stocks, commodities, commercial paper, financial instruments, but not crypto, huh? It says that all right in there. That's pretty amazing. I mean, everything's going there, but check this out. The blockchain solution was originally based on Hyperledger, so that's XLM with IBM. However, it plans to open up the range to other cryptos. Well, check this out. What did Russia finally decide? It was not XLM. Based on the research results, it was concluded that the Ripple platform can be considered as the basis for starting right there. Bam. This is Crypto Hulk. Check out my channel on YouTube. See ya.
Good one. Good one.
What I
And
did
then, of course,
is I turned this into a promo. As you can see, it's got a link down there.
Yeah.
And it takes people right back to my channel. So I got all my digital soldiers in place, taking our promos with Crypto Hulk. Now works for Mel Carmine. And we put it out there and people join, but I love giving exposure to everybody. You know why? Because there's 8 billion people out there, don't have a scarcity mindset. If you say abundance, live abundance.
Yes.
If you're a patriot, be a patriot. If you say you're a Christian, be a Christian.
Right. Yes. Yes, exactly, Mel.
Simple.
No, Mel, I really value you for that. And, the thing I love, like I said at the beginning, that you do is you literally give a platform for anybody from Spectrum Z right to Spectrum A. And there's a lot of, things that will cross over with one another, we'll agree with, and we'll interlap. And then there's other areas where we won't, and this and that, but that's okay. The fact of the matter is, what we're talking about here is liberty. The ability to express an idea, a thought, an opinion. It doesn't have to be agreed with, but let's get away from these whole guys out there that want to shut down our ability to communicate the way in which we can think and share our thoughts and ideas. I love the fact that you allow that. Now, if people don't and they want to criticize and all this and that, hey, go to it. But the reality is, the day may come when we don't have these platforms to be as free in our speech as we'd like to, and we're going to long for it. No, we got to stand up now and promote channels like your channel that gives people like me and other people who are even different than me a platform to come out and communicate what they think the future is going to be, how they think the world is going to unfold, where we agree and where we don't agree. And that's okay. That's what being individuals is about. And I can celebrate on my differences with you or with other people just as much as I can celebrate the things that we are totally in agreement on. And I respect you so much. And I just want to thank you for giving us all that. I appreciate it.
I love you too, brother. And a big shout out to El Capo di Tutti Capi, Mirko Javorka, my friend Javorka from over there in Croatia. And definitely George Falcone. I can't do this. This requires a team. You can't do it without a team. Okay. Yeah. And we don't have multi-million-dollar budgets. We're not paying these people. These people come in, they realize, hey, they're part of the history. They're part of the biggest transfer of wealth. It's happening underneath everyone's nose. They're going to be able to say, hey, I worked with Mel Carmine. Hey, man, I worked with the great Dave over there at Outlook. What is it? Outlook?
Yeah, Digital Outlook.
Digital Outlook, okay? Make sure, down below, Digital Outlook. Go give them a follow. This is not about Mel Carmine taking over the world.
Hey, but man, I'll be posting this on my channel, and your links are going to be in there, man.
Absolutely. Look, I shaved my head for the occasion. We're in a store.
You look good, man.
While I'm doing it, you know?
I don't know if I could ever do that. My son, he went out and did it, and I thought, man, you look really good that way. I don't know if I could pull it up, but boy, you're looking sharp, brother.
If you're going to be in a storm and you don't have to worry about combing your hair,
no,
and it looks good on you, wear it.
It does look good. Yeah, you can do it, man. You can pull that off. You're looking good. You're looking great,
brother. It's a pleasure. Man. I'm going to hold you over for 5 minutes. We'll say goodbye to the audience. We expect you, the digital soldiers, to take this stuff because he's battling the algorithms. He's hanging out in the back office and hit the refresh button, and he goes backwards 4 or 5 people.
Yeah.
It's happened to me. Okay, we depend on you guys because we don't have $82 million war chest.
Like button.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hit the like, subscribe, and share. Thank you, guys.
All right. Bless you.